If you've ever been an addict, you'll know what I'm talking about. Every addict knows the sensation of the indulgent backslide, that euphoric, illicit rush, when your heart rate feels like John Bonham practicing Morse code on the solitary snare drum of your left ventricle. My adrenaline was racing, to the point that the subway was too slow for me and I had to walk across the park to get here, just to burn off the nervous energy. Blood rushed through my brain. I couldn't hear out of my left ear. I don't remember his name, but he was wearing a red Office Max shirt. He was my dealer. He wasn't wearing the shirt out of irony. He worked there. He didn't see a need to hide it. After all, he was still on the clock. No, it was me who had something to hide. Behind me stood a bored yuppie with a button-down shirt and a hole puncher in his hand. In front of me was a mother juggling printer paper, notebooks, and a box of thumbtacks. Her 8-year-old daughter loitered nearby, studying me. I looked away. Shouldn't be doing this in front of children. Next, said my dealer behind the checkout counter. I stepped forward and with a forced nonchalance slid the glossy box of John Madden 2001 towards him. He looked the box over. I half smiled and shrugged like the box had just fallen into my hands, so I might as well buy it. He put me on the spot. Is this it? Of course it wasn't. He knew that, the snide prick. I've been off this stuff for 2 years, and of course I'm going to need the full Nintendo 64 system. 2 controllers as well. How fucking dare he? Did he think I wanted just anyone else to know about this? Did he think I was going to go bond with other junkies and sit playing with them like some burned out loser? Just one. For me. Combination of frazzled nerves and righteous indignation caused my voice to crack. He glanced at me and smirked. So the worst part of being a junkie is the lack of respect. Being looked down on by the very ones who profit from your addiction. But I grit my teeth and bear it. I'd ignored the urges for 2 long years, so if Skip, or whatever the fuck his name was, wanted to smirk at me, I could take it. I was committed. Because this was John Madden 01. There was going to be a franchise mode in this game, where you can become the owner of a team and build it for 30 seasons. That's right. Build it. Not just creating players, not just drafting players. You could set stadium ticket prices. You could collect revenue. You could trade. You could sell concessions. This was a game that nurtured my inner Jerry Jones just as much as it spoiled my inner Marshall Falk. In the world that John Madden had created, I could be part chess player, part loudmouth, and part mogul all at the same time, at the ripe age of 25 years old. For the past 6 months, I've weighed the pros and cons carefully. If I was going to fall off the wagon, it was going to be for nothing less than Madden 01. So I bided my time. And why not? It was the year 2000, and life wasn't half bad. I was fully ensconced in young adulthood. I was working 3 jobs and secured a bubble-butt full-time stripper named Susan as my girlfriend. I was living the dream. In this panacea of satisfaction and satiation, I felt secure. I couldn't ask for much more. But I did. There was that one missing thing, that one burning urge, that one object whose absence left a void in the back of my gray matter, an itch my brain could not scratch. I felt it in post-coital moments when my body wasn't fully recovered enough to move with any degree of equilibrium. I felt it when the batteries of my beeper had died. Yes, this was really the year 2000. And I was forced to sit by the phone, waiting for my temp agency to call me back. But the itching came strongest on those Tuesday afternoons when I'd wake up after a graveyard shift to find the city outside in full swing, already buzzing outside my window. And during those moments, I'd gleefully fantasize about filling my brain with nickel packages and shotgun formations, using a single back 3-receiver set for the Arizona Cardinals, but playing out a pro-style 2-back set if I was with the Green Bay Packers, so I'd get maximum production out of both Dorsey Evans and Edgar Bennett, which nobody ever did. I was redlining towards that inevitable walk across Central Park to the Columbus Circle Office Max. It hadn't always been this way. Yeah, once upon a time, I'd been a normal, happy kid. I was smoking, drinking, hanging out late at Taco Bell to pick up the chicks from Parkway North. Where did it all gone wrong? His name was Dave Mott. He was my best friend in high school. And John Madden was the mortar between the bricks of our conversations, the cross bridge that served as segue between conversations about which girls we were chasing, to which girls we wanted to chase, to which girls we chase in a pinch. You know, obviously we had a lot to talk about. But we also dabbled in philosophical. It was Mott who made the profound statement that if your penis was shaped like a Nintendo cartridge, you could have sex with your Nintendo. I've never forgotten that. May not have been the Algonquin Round Table, but bear in mind there were only two of us. So flashing forward to college, that was a fresh start. That was a chance to reinvent myself, to take a trial run at the me I wanted to be the rest of my life. So, in the greatest tradition of the avowed hypocrite, I loudly professed an over-the-top hatred of video games, and I regularly bored anyone too drunk to move down the couch from me with a lecture on the evil seduction of Sega Genesis. But in my quest to become the Jesse Helms of all things video game related, there was one thing I didn't count on: the slippery slope of the feeder drug. That gateway to hell. I never saw Mario Kart coming. It was so fucking harmless. It was like being sold meth by a Saturday morning cartoon character. It didn't even qualify enough as a video game for me to, make the sign of the cross. It was too colorful. It made bopping noises and springy sounds and doinks. It was in 3D. It looked like Smurfette's good acid trip. And what was more harmless than racing through Chaco Mountain against a turtle, a dinosaur, a mushroom toad, a little blonde princess, and a building superintendent? Somewhere between the Calamari Desert and Frappe Snowland, the delirium had set in. Bowser's name had somehow become elongated from simply being Bowser to Bow Wow Wow Yippee Yo Yippee Nay Snoop Dogg in the motherfucking house. Yeah, I was itching to return back to that. I was defined in my justification. So what if I lived in my own little world? At least everybody knew me there. So back to the year 2000. I made it across Central Park. I got home and tore the packaging open. Within 30 minutes, the familiar NFL theme song blossomed from my TV speakers. I had the game. John Madden was finally mine again. I spent 2 hours creating players whose names all sounded suspiciously like mine. I spent another 2 hours drafting them all to the beleaguered New Orleans Saints franchise that I planned to rebuild. And then I played. It was an epic fucking game against the Dallas Cowboys. The stunningly effective new Saints quarterback, Chris Meyer, was on fire. But perhaps never more so than when he handed off to C.P. Meyer, the explosive muscular workhorse of a fullback. Both their contributions were dwarfed, however, by the phenomenal defensive instincts and cat-like speed of hyper-agile cornerback C. Meyer and the devastating hitting ability of middle linebacker Mad Dog Meyer. The Saints won. There was no walk in the park, but we looked really solid. I mean, for the first time in 6 or more hours, I completely collapsed in my chair. Completely satiated. It was fucking great. The sense of accomplishment, the pride of victory, the fond reminiscence of my influence on those struggling Mike Ditka-era Saints. Maybe I just wasn't cut out for the real world. Maybe I could be happy building these Saints into a 30-season winner. Maybe that was satisfaction enough. Or maybe I was 25 and too young to feel this satisfied with myself. I got up and I disconnected the N64 system and wrapped the controller in its own wire, put the game back in its own packaging, took the elevator 6 flights down to the street, walked out to the corner and dumped the lot in the metal trash bin. It was like a film that dropped away from the world around me. Suddenly, I noticed other people. I heard snippets of conversation. I saw the full foliage of the nearby trees basking in the sunlight. And my beeper went off. It was Susan. I couldn't bear to look at the trash bin, so I just walked away for the best reason I knew. My brain no longer addled. I finally realized I really needed to get laid.